Today's final of the Kung Fu Cup gonna start off in the bottom right side with the red Zerg player from Dragon Phoenix Gaming. This is Dark. Let's see what the blue Protoss creator comes up with. Try and fight somebody who a lot of people would generally, I think, and probably fairly say he's outmatched against, right? I don't think anyone is really coming into this and being like, oh yeah, creator is the one to watch in this series. No, it's all about Dark, right? It is Dark through and through, no doubt about it. So how is this gonna go? What is Creator gonna do to try and throw Dark off? Dark's not unbeatable. We saw that earlier from Hurricane. He is able to take a map despite Dark getting a decent start off into the game. Hatchery down on the bottom side. Just going to be seeing the gas in the pool. Obviously, this was a hatch block, so we'll see if Creator does anything Twilight focused. Maybe we're seeing a bit of a return of Twilight Council potentially in the matchup. It's possible. Seeing a bit of Twilight Council coming back up. It is a possibility for sure. Nexus goes down here. Spawning pool is down from Dark in the back of the main. We're going to head up to the top left-hand side. A couple of hatcheries going to finish up then, and just going to be seeing the spawning pool finishing in the back. Nat third. Not really much to say just yet. Now, Dark played pretty stand. Obviously, Dark was very much so a reactionary player earlier. When given the chance, he continued to play on pretty low tech. Roach Ravager, Ling Bane. He didn't really make a lot of tech ups unless it was, you know, super essential for the most part, it seemed. So, Lord hanging around in the natural here. It's going to fly back along over toward the bottom right side now. So there's the Twilight, and we will see Creator going into this. So yeah, I wonder if Twilight... It's one of two things. Either Twilight's starting to make a bit of a return after all of these Stargate openers we've seen lately, or the other option for this is that we're actually starting to go back a little bit into... we're going to start moving away from Twilight, from Stargate. Blah, blah, blah. Sorry, I'm messing this up. That's the one I already said. Or it's the fact that Fred just feels like he needs to be tricky and weird, and that's why he's going for the Twilight opener here, to try and get himself ahead against somebody he feels he just is going to struggle to play a more standard Stargate style against. And I can get behind that. I can understand that too. That might have been how Hurricane felt as well, especially based on how he played in the next game along, when he went for that Blink Stalker roll in and then back to Adept once again. Just didn't want to play Stargate against Dark at all. So it was kind of a little bit of a tough situation, as we do see our Resonating Glaives is on the way up on that Twilight Council. The Roach Roaring is building on the corner of the main as well. Just on the edge of that creep. So here comes the Glaives, here comes extra gates, and, well, yeah, apparently this is just kind of the way the game plays again. It might just be as well that it's becoming meta because the Zergs are getting bad against it once more. Like, they kind of forgot how things were going, they kind of forgot how things were meant to be. It's potentially a big part of this as well. He's going to look for a counterattack, but there's still a Stalker left in the wall off. He does get the probe that moved out to try and establish something toward the third base, though. Let's here come our Adepts. Now, interesting part of this, the Warp Prism is actually very late onto the map. You know, you talk about this being a 430 kind of build, and this is 441. He's going to warp in Adepts in, like, the bottom corner. Now, he's added on 2 more gateways as well, so this is not just going to be the 4 gates, it's going to be 6 gates, and because of that, they don't like what Dark is doing, the lair, the drones, and I think what's happening is that Dark is expecting this attack, and then he's like, wait, you're not committing to it. So Creator's basically faked the 4-gate Adept attack, and He's sort of pulled back, and Doc's like, huh, I never saw a prism. I never saw you getting aggressive. It looked like you wanted to take a third base. I denied that. And now Doc's going to get hit with a ton of adepts, and he's been doing nothing but droning. So can he pull something together here, Doc? As right now, supply block needs 2 overlords to finish before he can build anything. The adepts continue to move forward. They're going to start chasing in already. These Ravagers being scared away. The drone's going to pull away from the third base as the Adepts don't commit just yet. These 4 would love to join up with the rest of them. And they get surrounded. Maybe the Prism can save 2 of them. It does. Honestly, I think these Adepts can probably just jump in on top of the Queen and Disruptor here. Gets rid of a Queen already. Is just going to see the Ravagers being chased down. These Adepts getting up into the main base as well. So Adepts getting through and going to be able to come in. Lings are going to run straight into this. More Adepts from the left-hand side. And again, other Adepts going to go hiding behind the back now into the natural, and Doc's in trouble. He did not realize how many gates this was. He did not realize how much there was going to be here. Because now we're just going to be seeing finally some control coming into all of this. But 8 drones dead. I'm impressed there's only 8 drones dead, really. Resources lost is actually only a little bit favorable for Creator. And he still doesn't have a third base up behind this. Remember, this is 6 gates as well, so they'll build a more depth than usual. So when this doesn't do like mega amounts of damage, you do fall into a bit more trouble than you usually do as well. Something else to keep your mind on in this. Approaches on the Ravager from Dark into the bottom right side. A little bit of creep spread from Dark, starting to push out over the left. Obviously sat down on 3 bases. The third just started from Creator, and I think that's obviously Dark's strength right now. I think that's the way Dark can absolutely get back into this a little bit. There's some hanging around over that right-hand side. A few Adepts of Creator from the bottom left. We'll see where they want to go. Probably through the bottom of the map as well. Spire is building up from Dark. Couple of Depths into the Prism. Gets lifted up here now. Hallucination is already tagging an Overlord just a little bit and moving into the main base now. We're going to have a few Depths continuing in from the left-hand side. Disruptor follow-up's been very popular as well, and I guess it makes sense. You're kind of forcing the Zerg into a lot of Roach Ravager. Then you go into Disruptors, and they're really good at kind of connecting in on a whole chunk of that Roach Ravager for sure. What is interesting is that we're seeing we're seeing Blink on the way up now as well, but we're seeing the Mutas coming in from Dark, so that's really good against this. There's our Thursday fire alarm, guys. Confirmed our finals today is the hottest series of the day. Man, they're getting later and later at doing this whole fire alarm thing. Thank you so much. Good to know the fire alarm's still working. And our hottest match of the day is Dark and Creator. So hot, it sets the fire alarm off. That's our meme. As Creator shows up, he's going to try and deny a 4th base, but there's actually a 4th in the bottom left as well. So I don't think Dark needs to fight this. I think this is fine. You can let this go. It's okay. Army recalls back to the upper left. And come on, Mutas. Again, there are Blink Stalkers available on the map, and that should be Creator's way to play against this. He saw the Spire, so he knows it's up. He knows the Mutas are coming in. So he will be back home to defend. He will not fall apart like Hurricane did back in one of the games against Dark earlier today in the semi-final. That was one of the issues. This will sneak into the main base. Getting a good few probes out of it. I mean, they're still just hanging around. Going to be seeing the Bane Nest coming up. +1 missiles, +1 flyer attack. The mutas need to be careful. They're going to dive in. And the Stalkers and the Sentries are quick to turn around onto those. One of the mutas gets picked off. And just seeing the Ling Roach Ravager around the right side. Still sent up as well. Creator going to move down the bottom. Yeah, these mutas going to go diving in. Perhaps for this main mineral line as well. Here we go. We got on the bottom side a hatch taking quite a lot of damage. He's on from the top. Assimilator taking a few shots again. Stalker is opening just next to this. Disruptor shot gonna fire. Ravager's managed just about to dodge away as well. Everything else here from Creator still looking to be aggressive. I mean, the thing is, Dark, obviously the start wasn't great. Now the Mutalisks on the follow-up haven't exactly done much. And because of all of that, everything else he's trying to play is just so delayed here. Doesn't have Bane speed yet. +1 melee is only just starting. So Dark's really on this kind of... I mean, this is the sort of army he lost with when he played against Hurricane, and you can understand why. When you look at this, there's not a lot really going on here. These Mutalisks all going to go down. I mean, they really were just hopeless this game. They did nothing. Well, Dark's going Infestation Pit. We'll see what tech up he wants to make. Probably just has to go into Hive to get into Vipers. I don't think there's another real choice in that. Will Changelings go down? I think these Stalkers are just looking for a free kill here, free kill there. I think my Colossi already part of this army. I mean, Vipers are a long way off. You got to finish that Hive. You got to build the Vipers. You got to get the energy on them. You're way away from making Vipers something that can work out in this. Disruptor shot comes in, just hits one Ravager. Couple Banes going down, Disruptors. Not really connecting at least. Corrosive Files have been pretty decent. And there's a counterattack across the map. Banes roll in for 9 probes. Make that just the 9. Okay. Things going to turn back around up toward those couple of force fields. Force fields are going to get faded away. And now we've got Ling's going to attack straight across the left side into this Nexus. A few Corrosive Files once again coming in, pushing the Colossi back, pushing the Stalkers back. Nice dodge from the Ravager, splitting away from that Disruptor shot. Those Lings do very well over on that left side. 11 probes dead now. As we do have Creator not able to make an attack in, right? I mean, he's a little afraid to really commit through. And that's allowing Dark to stay alive here, staying maxed out. He's traded horribly this game, Dark, but now he's on a good eco lead. If he can just survive these 5 bases against the 3, he's also got a top right base. I mean, that's obviously going to be seen and found. And I mean, even if Creator goes up to kill that, though, that buys Dark even more time where he's got this lead. A couple more Banes and 4 more probes go down. Again, Ravager wanting to move through here, coming in already. Well, Bane's connecting. Now we can try and do a little bit more. The Bane's unable to get in there just yet, though. Not able to do too much for the moment. Corrosive Files dropping down our Banes, trying to get in. Split away, and the Banelings are able to survive. Now the Bane's going to recommit through here. Blink back, everything going to get connected into. I mean, the problem is the Stalkers blink back to safety, but that leaves everything else exposed. 2 Colossi survive, but the Archons didn't. This Immortal does. Dark's army supply just isn't quite there. honestly, if I feel like if these Colossi go down, Doc can maybe win this, because once these Colossi go down, I don't see much value in this army. It's just Stalkers. One Archon, one Maul. Both of those are low as well. Doc is just pure Ravager. A few Banes morphing. I'm not even sure what the Banes are going to roll into. Like, Stalkers at this stage might not even be all that great. You know, if we're going to be honest with this. Plus gets picked off. Ling Roach Ravager trying to move through again. Zealots getting picked away as we see a few more Zealots coming in. Of course, the Files again doing decently. Nice pick off on the Colossus. It's actually really nice. Takes that down, and now just going to have, I mean, maybe the potential to hold here. Remember, Kraid is only on 3 bases and 45 probes behind this, and Doc still has that bottom left base in 75, so he's been able to build up. Like I said, once those Colossi go down, what's really in this army? Absolutely nothing of value, to be quite honest. Right? Like, really nothing of value. Stalkers on their own are just not that scary. That's Dark. I think is making this happen. 17 minutes deep in this game number 1. It looks like Dark is getting there. What an effort. What an effort, though. Person moves around, a couple of Vipers coming up, +3 melee, Adrenal Glands. Let's continue as well. The sentry's just going to finish. Stalkers going through, and a couple of drones already being picked away at. Things get the surround kill and the Archon. I'm going to see our Disruptor coming in, and a few probes going down as well. Ling's on the counter. I mean, the counter attacks in general are kind of what saved Dog to some extent, right? Because, you know, initially he needed these counters to shut down the economy of Kratos so that he couldn't get to 4 bases. He couldn't get consistent reproduction. Now he's going to recall home to try and deal with this. Some of the Lings just run up into the main and just creating problems everywhere. There's nothing really left to mine in the main, though. We're 18 minutes deep. Doc did lose the bottom side base, but he's double expanding to the right to get a bit more eco, or keep a bit more of the eco up for himself. When he comes back around the right. Disruptor Shot gonna fire, doesn't quite connect. Two probes going down. The Vipers here just makes it so much more complicated, of course. I mean, we have talked about the Vipers before, but yeah, the Vipers were not able to come out earlier, but now they're here. I mean, if you can abduct a couple of Disruptors, you can obviously stop those from firing. You can see the High Templar here looking for feedbacks. The Vipers have gone to get energy. Kratos' army supply is still scary. Blinks up. It's the Disruptors that are the scariest part of this because they take down so many Ravagers with every connection if they're successful. And those are 2 good Disruptor shots back to back. It's a pretty big deal. Another counterattack from Dark, and he's going to ravage the mineral lines. It's pretty much all the remaining probes in the game. He's got access into the natural, and that actually, those actually are the last probes. So Kratos is going to have basically nothing left, but Dark is running out of army. Like, he needs to find a way to get rid of this. He got hit by the feedback, so the Vipers don't have energy right now. He needs to get rid of these couple of extra Disruptors, honestly. He's going to fight it now because he kind of feels a little bit safer. The Lings are going to come back home. But not before Dog has lost a lot of his Ravagers. He needs a way to shut down these Disruptors. Well, here come the Lings. They need to go and get rid of that Archon. Disruptor's coming in. He actually dodges the first Disruptor shot. He's going to get rid of one of them, and he's going to get the army. Dark is going to win it out and take a 1-0 lead after kind of an epic game, actually. When you put +3 melee Adrenal Gland Lings in your opponent's base, and he's all in across the map, basically, time and time again, Lings are going to look pretty good. Let's just be realistic, you know? Top left-hand side did take the first game of our best of 5 final. It is the red Zerg player, Dragon Phoenix Gaming Dark. Bottom right-hand side. Blue Protoss player is Creator. It's gonna get interesting. Gonna proxy the hatchery. So why is this fun? Well, first of all, because this probe over here blocked the hatch, so he doesn't know necessarily that the hatchery isn't just over here. He should check that at some point, though. Predator goes into the main to harass. He's not going to check the right side just yet. That means that Dark can kind of get away with this for the moment. He's going to go gas and pool, and Predator's going to be very blind to this for now. Creator's just here harassing away, thinking this is normal, that the base is over here. But that's why so many players check this base over here. Hurricane did it as well when he hatch blocked. Before coming up into the main, he checked the hatcheries on the right side. Obviously, in this case, it absolutely is not. And, you know, now Dark's going to start building spines. Creator's got zero idea about this. And Creator's going to be in a lot of trouble. You know, against this, you need to start thinking about a response, what your tech's going to be. You know, what you're going to build. Now he's going to see drones moving out. He's going to see no natural. So he'll be like, yeah, okay. Oh my god, he's not even going to check the third. But now he sees the creep spread, so now he kind of knows anyway, right? First spine on the way up, immediately drops a shield battery. The robo in the main, but that's going to take so long to get back up and running here. I mean, once you get to an immortal, if you can get a good amount of batteries, these spines can be picked away at as well. We saw this with Doc the other day. He actually played against a player in the Gold Series Team Championship playoffs, this exact build, and it looked really good for Doc until it just didn't have enough power to properly break through, and then he got held off, and from there, obviously, Doc's extremely all-in, so you gotta win the game with this, basically. Yeah, I mean, Warp Gate will not be allowed to finish here at all. That's obviously how things are gonna set up. Gonna kill the shield battery first, though. And the battery is actually gonna free the Stalkers, allow them to come out the front. Obviously, the battery good to remove. Stalker's not going to go down there yet anyway. There's no expansion from Creator. He decides to not commit to that. He cancels it. With that cancel, he will obviously just try and defend on one base. Takes down the Cyber Core. The Lings are going to run in. The gateway, the pylon. Taking a whole bunch of damage. A bit more creep continuing to press forward as well. Alright, well. Dog double expands back at home. He says, if you're just on one base, I mean, I'll just double expand and start setting up for the future. I think he realizes pushing into one base is maybe not going to be game ending or anything along those lines, so kind of stays away from it. Mole's going to try and prison micro to break out of these spine crawls. Trying to make some progress there. Well, the Spines is going to fall back. I think they realize they're going to be in trouble if they stick around, so they're going to start heading home. To be fair, I mean, you had a couple Spines back at home, and you can do a lot. Like, what's Creator going to do? He's just restarted his Cybercore Warp Gate now. He'll clean up the creep spread. He's got to take an expansion. I don't think there's anything you can really do here on one base that's going to necessarily work out at all. Stone's taking a few shots. The Queen comes in, Immortal gets chunked down. And all of these Spines of Dark continuing away to the upper left-hand side. Bunch more Lings coming up, Warp Gate coming in. There's that Robo Bait coming up as well. Lings will force a few force fields. I mean, at this point, just trying to delay this expansion as much as possible. The creep is still there. Creep is literally just sat here chilling. He still has this hatchery here too. Dark's just making a lot of Lings at the moment off all of these bases. And he's going to try and fight this as the expansion comes down. He wants to deny. He doesn't want to let Creator get the chance to take a base. So Creator, I mean, good force fields, right? But what are you kind of meant to do? Like, I wonder if this is just... I wonder if just giving up the natural is just something you can't do against this for this kind of reason. He's going to lose the prison with the Immortal inside as well. Well, just in case it wasn't already going badly for Creator, now it absolutely is going horrendously. Lings are going to try and fight this once more. The new sentry's not here yet. Lings is going to wrap around the Nexus. They don't care. Now they're going to wrap around this army. The force field goes down, but honestly, the Lings are still in a good spot. The battery on the high ground is going to save the day for the moment. And that battery saved the Immortal. I don't even say if it saved the Immortal, but it saved the sentries. For sure. Probe still in that upper right-hand side. Roach roaring in the main. 2 units of Creator moving out again. Dodges the Disruptor shot #1. Second Disruptor shot coming through. Dodges that one. These Disruptors sit on 0 kills against Zerglings. Good dodges. Really good dodges. And, well, Dark, he's up 18 workers. He's up a base still. Obviously, maybe just needs to slow it down and build some extra units. He is going to start finish a Roach Roarer now. Last starts as well. So he looks to the future. And, I mean, it's been good to kind of keep Creator off the base for so long, but of course, it's got some Dark as well. He could have obviously teched up himself a lot by now also. Hatchery goes down. All the Lings going to come through the bottom. As that Prism going to go up the right-hand side. Lings going to make a bit of a dive down onto this space, and they're going to run straight in. There's just not enough force fields. This time, everything is out of range of the shield battery, so the Lings are going to have a great time. Now, that one Zealot on the ramp is in range. The Immortal's going to go down. I mean, where's that Prism at over here? So the Disruptor shot's going to grab a Queen. I mean, you just lost your entire army and you've killed a Queen, right? That's kind of what's happened. Well, Dark is going to keep this one, keep people busy. So he's going to fire hit that Spine Crawler. Going to be seeing the Lings continuing to rally across the now. He's going to go Spire for the end game. Grace is not going to let it get there. He'll type GG and give Dark a game #2. 9 minutes on the proxy hatch game. Could it be? Alrighty, so in the bottom left-hand side, match point in the finals is in favor of our Red Terran player from Dragon Phoenix Gaming. This is Dark. Up against the Blue Protoss in the top right-hand side of the map, we've got ourselves Creator from Jin Green Wings. That is a different anime little icon on everyone's on players on people's things every day now. It's kind of funny. Hatcher down in third base. Creator gonna patrol on the natural with the probe. We just have a hatch gas spool, very standard stuff. Obviously, Creator getting the block off. This time he again doesn't check the third hatch location, but you know, maybe he'll do it a little bit faster at some point at least. I suppose we shall see. Probe coming around again, just nibbling, just being a little bit annoying at the moment. As you do see the yeah, we do see this kind of setup continuing. This probe being as annoying as possible in these early stages. Nothing too crazy there then. Yeah, it's the grand final, guys. It's best 5, and Dark obviously leading 2-0. I said I would tell you guys a bit more about Dark's Kung Fu Cup history. He last won an event in May, which is actually only like 6 or 7 Kung Fu Cups ago, because again we've had a bit of delay with some other events. But yeah, Dark really shows up in these events a lot of the time when he's not involved in GSL and stuff. He has won 3 Kung Fu Cups. What's interesting is that he's only won 1 of them since it returned in 2020. His first 2 wins were actually back in 2018, May and June. He's made a few semifinals since then. Earlier this year he made semifinals. He made a finals against Dream. That was a 3-0 loss for him. I was kind of excited to maybe get that Dream Dark final again today, but obviously Dream didn't actually end up coming through that side of the bracket, losing out to Cyan in the round of 8. So, being a bit of a day. Coming up. Queen's on the way out, as we'll see the Adeptia moving back around. Some Lings, a couple of Queens on the way up. We have an Oracle building on the Stargate. The Overlord is making its way into the main base. So Overlord into the main. I like the fact we got a Stargate opener, though. Something we've not seen from any of the PVCs so far today, right? Usually, I mean, this kind of throwback to 3 or 4 months ago when it was actually Twilight Council every single time. It's kind of funny. Oracle is heading down the bottom left. Sorry, I missed the depth scan in for 4 drones. There's Dark. He's actually on a lot of Lings. He's actually way down on drones right now. He's down 8 workers, and this is before this Oracle shows up to try and get a bit done. Oracle gets hard shut down, though. Very nearly dies even, so Oracle is very lucky to get out of there. Dark's still down in work as there's a couple of Adepts causing chaos, and yeah, not the prettiest start. Now there's a Void Ray on the follow-up, so we see a Void Ray as part of the next step here. The Void Ray is starting to move down the right-hand side. Steps get up. We're trying on the way down from Dark here. About 50 drones. Obviously nothing aggressive just yet, at least. Obviously you don't necessarily always need roaches against oracles, but you can obviously be hit by a few follow-up attacks, and sometimes you just want to play roaches into the mid-game anyway, so that seems to be the plan for the moment. So you're depth shading down through the natural into that mineral line. Now we have our Void Ray making its way around the left-hand side as well. So it's going to go around to the left. Probe being chased. Doesn't quite go down as the Ling gets denied at the front. Doc can actually find potentially a fight there, but there's obviously just a little bit too much to really commit to. Doc was really good with those lings in the first game as well, and right now he's just putting the lings to use once again. I mean, Predator wants to make a bit of a push out. Good news is there is an Oracle here defensively back at home. It's a lot of Stargate units early, right? A Void Ray and 3 Oracles. Like, that's 4 Stargate units, and that adds up quite a bit as well. I wonder if that has much of an impact on Kratos' follow-up or anything. Oh, look at Dark. Swarm Host, Nidus. It's going to be the style. Infestation Pit and the Nidus network coming through. That's really quite something. Well, a couple of hallucinations flying by. The Queen's taking a very aggressive kind of forward stance at the moment. See how well Creator deals with these swarm hosts as they'll start to come out in the next few moments. Nothing else this could really be. Let's get up to the top. They actually take down a shield battery. That could be pretty important maybe for the swarm hosts to do a bit better up there. It looks like the unit... There's a unit on the top left and a unit on the far right, and I imagine that's where the 2 Niduses are going to go, the first and the second. Whichever order he chooses to go in, I'm not too sure. He could go main first, then the third. Because obviously there's more units toward the third base anyway. Okay, he's going to go toward the main first anyway, because this Zealot finds a single Zerglin on the top left side. So the first Nidus should go to the right, probably, yeah, around over there. And drop in access to the main base. Would be how my imagination takes us. Zealot finds the Nidus. What a catch by Creator. Good map control. Good scouting around and just trying to check what's going on. Is it worth actually even coming into the swarm was out of there right now is the question. The Lings in the main base getting cleaned up. The Nidus will not do anything. The problem is if you bring the swarm host out of this Nidus, then they're just going to die. Because they're going to get stranded there, because the Nidus is going to go down. Nice kill on the Prism at least takes that attention away. Now the swarm hosts finally get out, but you've missed maybe a wave of Locusts that you would have liked to have used by now. Let's see how this first wave of Locusts is going to go. There are a couple of stages towards defensively. It kind of depends how many of the Locusts drop down at once. Ling is going to try and fight with this. He actually flies past the next part of this, and now he drops down, but into a super battery that's already activated. I can't imagine that's going to go well, and it doesn't. These few Ling is going to actually escape away to the right side, so Kratos doesn't catch them. The thing is, Kratos is already getting very confident against this Swarm Host play. Already moving out onto the map. Doesn't want to go too far forward. I mean, for now, maybe just deny the Nidus, but go too far forward, I think you'll have a bit of a bad time, so got to be a little bit careful with that for sure. Some Roaches making their way to the top left. We still yet to see the Swarmers really show up. They're going to try and come out of the Nidus on the left side now. I mean, but that Nidus is going to get taken down. He's going to drop a few Locusts. He's actually going to protect the Nidus with the Locusts that spawn. And he is going to start pushing this back, although it wasn't really his ideal setup. It wasn't really things going the way they wanted to as Locusts drop down again. But the Zealots turn around and you kill a Zealot, and once more, the Swarmers have really just not been that effective. What's interesting is that Dark's on a higher drone count than usual with Swarm Hosts. Usually you sit around 60 with Swarm Hosts, but he's on 72. And I think that's because he's already realizing he needs to tack up in the future. See the Lurker Den on the way down for him now, and he's realizing, yeah, I gotta go into something a little bit different in the next few games. Huggles diving in on the upper right. Let's see a few Ravagers coming around the left side as well once again. Look, then gonna finish in a few moments. +3 missile attack on the way through. Getting that Fleet Beacon, that Stargate. Well, they're still continuing up right now as we've got Blink and +2 attack. continuing on in. I mean, this is the problem for Dark. You can't really fight this army until the Swarm Hosts are ready to go, but when the Swarm Hosts are ready, this army just backs away. He's trying to save the hatchery, and for now, he will do so. Another Queen shows up. It's another transfusion. Right now, he might really need it. The Ravagers decide to dive forward, though. Is that the right decision? He's going to get one of the Immortals at least, but there's still 4 Mortals there, but at least he can continue chasing. And that's going to be Corrosive Files going down. Can he get one more Mortal? Just gets one of them. It's very close, though. You could have maybe even considered that it was missed if you weren't paying proper attention. Locust coming across the map aggressively, walking into some storms initially, trying to dodge away. I mean, I love the Locust splits attempts, but I mean, there was enough Locusts that survived to deal some damage there. The High Templar will still be safe, though. What's the cooldown of the Super Battery slash the Wave of Locust? The Super Battery is 60 seconds, right? Yeah, Super Battery is 60 seconds, and the Locusts are about like 35-ish, 40, I think. I don't know, how long is a Locust cooldown? Might be around 30 as well. Yeah, it's around like the 30 to 40 sort of area. Roach Ravager makes its way up to the top left. 43. Wow, it was actually way up. It was a 43-second cooldown the Locust. Actually, I actually thought it was I thought it was more 40-ish. Then you saying 30, maybe say 35 to 40, but you know what? We're both wrong anyway. Alright, here we go. Locust in the main. Gonna see the carriers coming up. There's not really a response to carriers right now for Dark, apart from, I guess, just denying all the Stargates. I guess one of them, but then the Mothership shows up to cloak up and protect everything else. It doesn't really feel like Dark's game. It's just not really going the way he needs it to. It's not setting up. Harry's setting up on the top right-hand side. Just going to see Anitis on the left. What can Dark do here? He's getting up to Lurkers and stuff, but he needs an answer to carriers, and that's the issue. He needs Aspire and Corruptors and all that kind of stuff. Right now, he doesn't have that. Right now, he just doesn't have that at all. We're just going to make their way to the top left again. Going to dive in on that. Carriers are continuing to produce some pretty good numbers here, and as the Oracle comes for a little bit of a look around, trying to see what's up. Honestly, he doesn't really find too much just yet. And Dark defensively can draw this game out. It's just I don't know how he wins in a drawn-out game unless he starts attacking up a little bit more. And again, for me, he's still missing the Spire, especially. The Swarm Hosts, all but one of them get back in there. And actually, wasn't a bad trade. He killed 2 Archons, he loses a Swarm Host. That's actually kind of okay. That's manageable. You can play with that. I still don't know, man. I mean, we're talking about 9 carriers at this stage. Like, how the hell are Hydras and Spores meant to fight this off and a few Vipers? That's what I mean. I just don't see how where you go from here. I mean, maybe if you can get the Locust to be, like, extra effective. This is the mothership, they're not going to do anything. Oh, didn't bring the mothership back, actually. He's made his way into the mineral line for a few extra probes. Didn't even get any probes. Not sure what he's really fighting. Maybe just the Immortals are tanking some damage. Definitely a possibility. We'll just continue along the left-hand side. Stalkers get here and picking away at this Nidus. Nidus taking some damage as well. The Hydras actually do pretty good there, cleaning up. We're going to see a few more Infestors still on the way out. The +2 Carapace is going to be finishing soon as well. Roach is up on the top. Gonna see how Locust is gonna come diving in here, and this Nexus in a lot of trouble is gonna go down. So Nexus falls. Let's see, a few probes are dropping here, there, and everywhere as well. Gotta be a little bit careful about those. I mean, at least you're getting some damage done as Dark, but you lose the bottom right base at the same time. Now double Spire on the way up. Can you draw this game out long enough to make this somehow work out? Like, I don't really think he can, but I'd happily be wrong, I suppose. Hook is going to drop on into the top side, going to pick away at this Nexus. The Nexus goes down, cannon, a couple of batteries in some trouble as well. Rid of this Nidus over on the left-hand side too, as everything else from Dark. I mean, he's actually getting rid of, like, bases, right? Like, Predator's being held to kind of a lacking economy. Void shows up and pushing that Overlord away. You see the Swarm who's going to drop the Locust. They're going to rise up into the sky and go up the right side. Dive straight in on the cannon. These other couple cannons in trouble, and well, again, I mean, I really feel like this is becoming the issue for Predator. If he can't keep bases alive, this base will stay up. Nice use of the mothership, just running it forward to cloak it up. But now that base is low, that's really easily, struck down by another wave of Locust there in the future. Again, Kratos just doesn't have a bank, and well, Dark's making an Ultra Cavern. Not sure the Ultra Cavern is really necessary per se. All of these all these bits and pieces going up. Carriers setting up over on the right side. And come on, Locusts. Moving out right now. Just Infest is setting up. So Microbial Shroud actually used on the bottom right side of your screen there. Can you believe it? Tempest and Corruptors on the way. I mean, the Tempest is nice to start fighting from a distance. Obviously, I love the fact that Dark's finally going Corruptors. If you're cheering on Dark to 3-0 this, then Corruptors are kind of what he needs. It's impressive what he's done without the Corruptors, though, to be fair. And as these Locusts are going to go, and he's going to find another of the bases of Predator. Predator's just genuinely going to run out of money. Like really badly. Locusts dive in. We're going to get the Nexus. These lurkers burrowed up. I mean, it's very hard for I can understand it's very tough for Creator to push into this as well. And the problem is Creator kind of feels like he needs to push in. He can't just play like a super long game because the Swarmers are still just obliterating him on the other side. How's that Microbial Shroud yet again being used by Dark? A couple of Immortals down the right side trying to find the Swarm Host. I think the Swarm Hosts are in the upper left. That's a little squadron of units you see moving around. This group up here, yep. That's nice. Gonna drop a Nidus to exit fire as well. Nicely done. Look what's coming in. A couple of these spores being picked away at us. This is a big push forward. At the same time, obviously, this Nexus goes down. These probes go down. Dark doesn't have the minerals to rebuild is his issue, right? He's also losing this space. I mean, that's kind of a big deal. Losing a lot of drones with it. He's only got 20 drones left, Dark. It's actually going to come down to one fight. And I think with one fight, I think Creator might just win with one fight. I mean, the problem is one fight comes down to these spores being defensive. Dark's going to try and take the bottom right. Yes, Young Mothership goes down. Don't think we'll see that replaced in this game. If Dark, I mean, that's the thing. It shouldn't come down to one fight because Dark just won't move into a position to let it be one fight. Unless it's ultra defensive, in which case Creator can't take it. That obviously makes a lot of sense. $30,000 to the 28,000 resources lost. Pretty even, to be honest. Look at the income graph as well. You can see it's been a little bit more Creator favored, and that's why it was important for Dark to start denying those bases a little bit later on here. And he's got fungal growth. He was trying to hit the hit on the High Templar, I believe. Just gonna be seeing the Tempest taking some damage. I mean, that's a lot of damage on the Corruptors, though. Now the Corruptors are low. Locusts drop in. The cannons don't last very long. They're going to keep on making some progress. Oh, DT's in the... That's nice. That's cute. Hold position the Swarm Host, so the DTs are stuck in there with the Lurker. Harry's made a dive forward. He got a lot of the Infestors. This is not really the position Dark wanted to fight, and I don't think not right now when the Corruptors were already low. Creator is going to dominate this fight. It's really not close at all. That was not the fight Dark wanted. I mean, he just took so much damage on his Corruptors like a minute ago. They hadn't regen from that, and that means Creator just has enough to take this down and take it to a game 4. Getting some long games here between Dark and Creator. As in the bottom left-hand side. Definitely kind of trailed early. Had to play kind of a slow game. Didn't do well with his setup in the mid-game with the Swarm Hosts initially. It is Dark. And I gotta say, while he didn't do well initially with the Swarm Hosts, eventually they became MVPs. That was actually kind of sick, because usually if the Swarm Hosts don't do a lot early, it's not a good time, right? Oops. That's not the backspace button. That's the other button. In the top right, we have got ourselves a blue Protoss player. This is going to be Creator. Alright, so going to game number 4 of this here. Interested to see what will be brought into the table for these guys. Yeah, I mean, this honestly, it kind of shows how good Dark is, because he got kind of behind in a game where he should have never really had any hope. And he really made it extremely close from that point on. Yeah, it was a good game. It was a really good game, actually. Really sick. Nice to see a long finals. I kind of thought today was going to be very quick because of the way the semis were looking in the finals, but actually ended up with a good set of games anyway. Move a little along the right-hand side. Stargate sets up from Kratos. There is our initial build. Next is going to finish up in the natural. Adept, chrono boosting out of the nat as well. Now we're going to be popping a couple queens from Dark coming in. We do have the Oracle is on the way out initially. So Kreda, I mean, obviously played that last game off the Stargate. He actually got good damage done with the initial Adepts, and then the Oracles really kept him very safe from any counterattacks and stuff. The Adepts over the right side will shade up through the natural up into the main. Unable to really get there. Speed coming up from Dark, the Evolution Chamber on the natural. This Void Ray of Kreda going to make its way across and is going to be able to activate onto the Overlord. Overlord gets taken down. So we gets picked off. The Oracle's about halfway done here from Kreda, and just seeing this Void Ray. Down the right-hand side, Link Speed coming up, +1 melee upgrade coming up. And again, the Robo and the Natural getting set to go. Also, as our Oracle's going to pop out of the main base in just a few momentos and start heading down to the bottom. So yeah, pretty much the same setup from Kratos last time, and this is maybe a little too much in the sky for Dark to deal with. He changed targets from the Void to the Oracle, and he somehow manages to keep the queens up. That's pretty impressive. Got another hatchery on this left side. Here's the Oracles will drop a Revelation, and good depths coming through. Creep Tumor is being picked away at. +1 melee upgrade coming in on the Evolution Chamber. The Oracles heading over the right side. Now that's a fair few circlings. They're going to start heading up the left to the 12 o'clock, so they're going to start making their way in as well. Turns around, grabs a probe. Dark's kind of desperate to catch this army as it's moving out, but he won't really have much luck at all. Dark playing a melee upgrade style for once, so he's going to play quite heavy onto the Ling Bane. Obviously with the Roach/Ravager support as well as that Roach Warren is also well on its way up at this stage. Five extra gates, all building Evolution Chamber in the back from Dark, and yeah, still looking at this lair on the way up. There's still a lot of Lings coming through too. What surprises me the most is that we don't see... I guess he doesn't need Banelings yet. I guess we'll see the Banelings when he needs them, and when this lair is done, I guess Bane speed will be a priority. I just feel like I've seen very little from the Banelings so far, and obviously that's a key part of this, but I mean, what else was there to really do so far other than just to get the, other than just to get a, you need the lab if we can get those speed upgrades, plus 2 melee, etc. Gonna go melee and carapace upgrade, by the way, so he's actually gonna really go into upgrades. You don't see carapace a lot in ZvP. Usually you would see even like double attack upgrades, like melee and missiles at the same time. Do you feel like if he wants to make those Banelings a part of this, though, he does need to think about Baneling speed? And right now, we're obviously not at Baneling speed at all. I need to maybe make some progress in that sort of direction as Lings. Well, they're going to pull out over this left-hand side. Plus 2 melee, plus 1 carapace coming up. And that's the infestation pit. So we'll see an infestation pit coming through. Storm is on the way up on the Temple Archives. We're kind of going to get into another late game. The Hive on the way. I guess we're going to go into Vipers off this. There's the plan. Now Ling Roach Ravage is going to go up to the top left. Doc's going to be Doc's on 95 drones, so he can maybe start trading if he'd like to, but he doesn't really have to start trading. That's a nice catch on the Void Ray just in case. The Void Ray is one of those things where it's like it can absolutely start to just, deal damage at a random point, and it's nice to get rid of that already. Charging on down to the bottom. We see 20 Banes in production, a couple Dropper Lords coming through, and here comes the Wolf Prism to drop in a few more units. Prism taking a lot of damage. The Beacon and Stargate continuing up, plus 2 attack upgrade coming in as well. Adrenal Glands, plus 3 melee. Predator is going to be dropped here as well. I mean, these drops can be a really nice way to just distract and pull Creator apart a bit. As you see the late game starting to set up, you see a Spy, we see an Ultra Cavern. I like this too, just backing away with those drops. It is going to be Banelings in those. Just backing away with those probes and then just kind of pulling the drops back and just waiting to go again. You don't have to rush into it, right? You can take your time. There's a few Banes going to try. As Creator's maybe distracted, he will get down here. The Force Fields and the Storms try to come in. At the same time, probes do finally go down in the main as this drop makes its way through there. 11 workers killed. I like the idea from Dog. He's like, wait a second, if you're dealing with these drops, what if I can just jump on your army? And it was close to being good. It nearly happened. Stalker's pushing the Overlord back away up the left-hand side, and a couple of Oracles setting up stasis towards 2. Rocks go down in the center. Everything continuing to move around the map. Dark gonna continue over the right-hand side. Storms continue to come down. The Lings are going to get in here, getting a pretty good wraparound on everything. And I mean, there's just so much stacked defense to go through. He files down a stasis ward on a shield battery on his way out. The Oracles show up, and honestly, not much to fight the Oracles during a fight, as Creator has made his way up onto these Tempests once again. So he's made his way up onto the Tempest. He's getting into that Sky Protoss sort of style. Starts coming through. A few Lings going down. All gone off to the side. A lot of Lings going to go up the right and into the 3 o'clock position here. Well, Tempest shot's going to come through. We got these Lings trying to drop into the main base. So Ling's going to drop into the main. And a bit of a wrap around here. Roaches and Bane's going to get through on top of some bits and pieces as well. Doing pretty well as Ling Bane Ravager. Going to turn it around. Going to start rolling some of these Banes forward too. And obviously breaking out in some larger fights. Hey, Dog's actually getting a good cleanup in this main base. He's going to start denying stuff like Blink, I think, might actually just get denied here. If that attack continues, I mean, yeah, he's going to get a lot of probes. I think Blink as well, definitely a priority. Dog's trying to fight this army. He's got some Ultras to help. He's got 6 Ultras about to pop out of production. 6 Ultras are going to make a big difference to this. He's going to pull the drones in as a little bit of a tank for now. Oh my god, it was actually only 1 Ultra that was ready to pop. The other Ultras were way further back in the production timeline. Main base still being ransacked. The Corrosive Files do not find the Warp Prism. I think Dog just dies. It's just continuation of units out of Creator. I don't think Dog can hold this off. I don't think Doc can really hold this off. He's got a lot of minerals to spend as he continues to just clean up in the main. The thing is, Kratos lost a lot of his production over there. He's rebuilding a lot of gateways now. Maybe that's Doc's way to maybe make this happen. He's got some Corruptors that are going to start flying in, trying to get rid of these Tempests. Problem is, the 2 Immortal is actually really good against the Ultras, which is the majority of what Doc has coming through. But now he gets in on top of the army. He will get the cleanup. Tempests are going to recall home. Doesn't quite finish off that 1 low HP Tempest. Remember, he cleaned out that main base. The Stargate's all unpowered. Okay, well, Dog survived. 64 drones against 67, so the worker count's kind of even still. Dog spent a lot of the money as well, right? So he's able to rebuild a lot very quickly. Well, Oracles will make their way down through the center. Fleet Beacon is on the way up from Crater. Has to rebuild that to continue with the rest of the Stargate production. I mean, Dog is on his way to Corruptors, so he will get an answer to this up and running. And hey, thank you so much, WardiTV STG, for the 4-month resub. Well, if the Robobay may be thinking about some Disruptors, maybe? I don't think you want to go Colossi. I think Disruptors can be pretty good against this army. I'm just going to start running in. Oh, Corruptor's going to start running in. Going to go for these Tempests. At the same time, we've got some Ultras that just go up here with some Lings. I mean, it's the multi-prong that's likely to pull Kratos apart, and Kratos is being pulled apart right now. I mean, he loses everything in the skies. Honestly, these Ultras taking a little while to drop. I mean, saved by a Prism. That's an okay-ish Disruptor. Bane's just going to roll in full force over here. They're going to catch the probes, trying to get out to the side. Oh my god. Out of nowhere, Doc just kind of finds 42 probe kills, and I mean, he was on the verge of dying across the map. The thing is, Kratos gets into these spots. It was the same in the earlier game as well. He gets into this really good spot, and he can't end it because he just neglects defense at home. He gets too caught up in just saying, oh, you're going to counter me? Well, I'll just all in, right? Just gets extremely caught up in it. We've seen our army of Creator continuing down. the bottom side. You're just going to go for this. The Ultra's starting to wrap around. I mean, a few Immortals mixed into this. The Banes, though, are getting amazing connections. And that's going to be a cleanup from Dark. Spread it down the 60 supply and unable to win it out in this finals. Dark will take his 4th ever Kung Fu Cup. Congratulations to Dark. GG's. Dark played well. 3-1 in the final.